for sure. Tell a friend we're live. I haven't posted a quick absolute mistake. One, two, oh, two, 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 one. Download that. Hello everyone. All right, let me just quickly post this because I'm 14 seconds too late. Story. There we go. Welcome to the Black Betterment broadcast. I'm just actually trying to. Yeah, I found it. Oh, maybe I haven't posted today at all. Whoopsie daisy, I should have done that. Shame on me. All right, done. I was obviously doing too much. Cool, that's now live. We'll do that live. Anyway, tell your friend, we're live. I'll give the people time in. This show works best when people can give their opinions. Let me now switch to the actual PDF. Yeah, share screen, please. Windows. There we go. Yeah, that's the one. But let's see if this works. I don't think I did that. Have I not done that? Press that. Cool, whatever. All right, it's all done. Well, tell a friend, we're live. This is the Black Betterment broadcast. We're on the 221st. So that's quite a lot. Let me push out of the way. I'm your host, Brother Raven, also known as Rap Raven. This show, week to week, is dedicated to find solutions for Black people. That's right, a whole show dedicated for solutions to teach us ways to improve, progress, and, learn things as we can. So let's go how we always start, and we start the traditional way of saying. Don't forget to follow the Black Betterment broadcast Instagram. I'll put that link in the actual forums. Fantastic. Cool. Now, we start by talking about the triple tragedies. What are the triple tragedies, I hear you say? Well, that's white supremacy, anti-Black racism, and the Ma'afa. These three massive things, unfortunately, has contributed to something that's known as the double dilemma, which is we are despised and we are disorganized. These two things work in tandem, and it makes trying to find solutions very challenging. So what is the solution here, you say? Well, the single solution is Black Betterment, which is a lifestyle of Black people, continuously helping Black people on Black issues. That's what we promote. It's that simple. We promote that lifestyle on this broadcast. That's it. And we refine it. We try to, put it out there. We try to expand it. We try to get people's opinions and really just work as a community to make this idea, this lifestyle flourish. Cool. So we also send the links at the top so people can always jump in and give their opinions. But when you do, don't forget about the 4D values, which are discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. So again, that's discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. So, sometimes we have very fiery topics and some high anxiety topics. So if you can remember the 4D values, it makes communicating just a little bit more easier with brothers and sisters. All right. Also, we cannot use derogatory terms. Sometimes we're going to actually study case studies where maybe derogatory terms are used. But it's best we try to use constructive terms or descriptive terms. It just makes communicating just a little bit more easier. All right. So what is today's two fantastic topics? Well, one is B.A.D, bad intentions towards Black people, Black Betterment, We discussed the 3 stages of how non-Black and unsynchronized Black people sabotage Black Betterment. That's right. And then number 2, buck breaking, Black men. We discuss why anti-Black racists openly talk about sexual abusing Black men. It should be sexually, not sexual. So sexually abusing Black men. That's actually bad English. Yeah, remember to update that. But yeah, so these are the 2 topics. So what we're going to tend to do is, meanwhile, let me open this as it goes on. It's going to take me 14 seconds. I'm going to play some videos as we tend to do. So we're going to play some videos while we get... Oh, come on, why is things so low? Oh yeah. Or maybe because I'm opening the software as I'm doing it. That's always a problem. All right, open. There we go. So what we tend to do is we tend to look at certain kind of videos that happen during the week, and we try to give a Black Betterment perspective of it. And then after that, we then jump to 2 topics. So let me. Oh, this is for the last week we were talking about Arab woman who was antagonizing Black women. So we've got the video now. So let me play it while I try to update this text. Go ahead.
People who have 4B, 4C, or even 4A, dark brown hair, who are wearing bright blonde, ginger wigs. Are you telling me there's no issue? And they're wearing these wigs every single fucking day. Every single day they're wearing this. Is this not an issue? There's a lot of Black women here that are trying to intimidate me. I don't know who you think you are. I'm actually speaking up for your community, and you should be agreeing. And if not, you need help. Because what I'm saying is factual. Anyone can fucking agree that if you change your look every single day and you look in the mirror, you will now adapt and you'll think that this is your image. This is your true form. So now, when you remove all of that, you're going to be insecure. A simple Google search will show you this. A simple...
Does she wear makeup? She does.
She does.
She does.
Argument is void then.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, you think her argument's void because of makeup?
Yeah, you're talking about being natural. Be fully natural then.
Well,
in every
nothing.
aspect of your life.
Okay.
You can't contradict yourself and come out in public and start saying things like that. Doesn't make any sense.
I don't know how you can be on offense with that, to be honest.
Right.
Like, she is not in a position to be talking on anything anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like, say out of Black women's business, first of all. Like, it's got nothing to do with what people... You're making a massive assumption. So what you're saying is that if I choose to put any different colour hair on my head, yeah, when I take it out, I am then insecure automatically. Because I can't cope with the hair not being in my head. That I'm going to look at my image and think, I must have the hair. I must. I can't go outside unless I have this hair. It's just ridiculous. Like, most blonde women are not blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah? They make the majority of the people in this country, do they not? In the UK, yeah? Talk about them. So when they wake up in the morning or before they go to their appointment or whatever kind of thing, and they can see their dark roots, yeah? Are they having insecure breakdowns every single day because they're not their natural self? When they're reaching for the box of dye, yeah, to maintain that blondness, are they breaking down? Are they deeply insecure? Can they not function? What's it like? Why is the attack always on us? Like, other people don't make adjustments to their hair all the time, and then it's just like, I just can't stand. And also her proximity, it's the proximity to blackness. Yeah, you have a Black man, so you're so comfortable, thinking that you can talk to us anyhow. No, you may talk to him anyhow. Not us, not over here. Get through your head. I think people need, outside our culture, need to get through your head. The Black people in your circle, you can talk to them anyhow. Not everybody, you know. We're not going to have it. Trust me.
But you know what you're saying, men, we're not doing enough to protect our Black women.
Oh, speak on it.
That's the reality of it. So it should be the men coming out and saying what they need to say.
Big up the brother there. It's true. There should be more men calling out, especially, well, I recommend Black men date Black women, but those who are dating non-Black women and making them feel emboldened to say this kind of stuff. I mean, we were talking about it last week. We're going to quickly go past it, but funny enough, we're going to, this might actually tap into the bad intentions diagram I'm going to show today. Well, it definitely does. Yeah, it definitely does. But once again, it's like, pretending that someone is your ally, but actually it's backhanded compliments, this kind of stuff. So yeah, and it was funny if there was actually another Arab woman talking about her community. So this woman, I don't know if she's North African, Arab, or where, or Pakistani, or whatever, who knows, right? But there was another Arab racism. I think woman tried to talk about her community. Yeah, let's hear this.
More racist than white people, and yeah, let's talk about that. Let's talk about how my aunt called me Shaghle Led when I went to Lebanon. Let's talk about how they tell me to stay out of the sun because I'm already too dark. Let's talk about how I want my best friend to come with me to Lebanon, but I'd rather spare her a terrible experience. Let's talk about how if I fell in love with a Black guy and married him, how hard that would be for me, how hard it would be for him, how many hurdles we would both have to jump through, how I really wouldn't want him around my extended family because I wouldn't feel comfortable and he wouldn't feel comfortable. It's really gross. Maybe we should start taking some accountability and stop denying it.
Oh, so collectively, Black people have no friends, and it's very important to understand that. So they've already got systems in play to mistreat Black people, and obviously within the marriage, marrying another group, Arab, European, what it is. There's systems in play to stop that and also to maintain economics and stuff. I think when I get off this topic, we're gonna go to certain kind of diagrams to explain, why other communities behave the way they do, and why we fail to understand the importance of fixing things within. But yeah, so that's two Arab. Let's look at two Arab women there giving their perspective. One is friendly with black people and what is fearful that if she marries a black person and brings her friend to the country, they'll mistreat her and them. And the other one was just mistreating black women by trying to give some advice that comes from a bad place and feeling bone because she has a black boyfriend. Yeah, this is what happens. All right. So, okay, what videos do we have that we can look at? Let me see what we've got. What are we dealing with? We've got some of these similar topics. Oh, this is quite a nice one. Let's see this one.
Is the prequels to the beginning of The Matrix. Sarah Connor is actually Neo's mother. So JC, John Connor's Jesus Christ, grows up to be Neo, one and the same in The Matrix. The Matrix is in the future. The Terminator is the past. It's time travel, past, present, and future time travel. It's the second coming of the Christ, the evolutions of consciousness, man versus the machine. So the machines, the Terminator machines, hear that a child is going to be born that's going to terminate them in the future when they oppress man. Because, see, it's a man versus the machine. It's God's children versus man's children, which was technology.
So that's Sophia Stewart. So those who don't know, she was a sister of probably 70s or 80s, I want to say. It has to be. Is it 70s? I'm thinking because Terminator was actually quite early. So probably either 80s or late 70s. She wrote a book. I don't think was the book called The Third Eye Matrix. I don't know. It probably wasn't. I haven't checked the book's name. But either way, within that book, a lot was lifted from it allegedly. I think they saw it in court, so it actually was official to write Terminator 1 and 2, as well as The Matrix. The whole franchises in general. And I think she's been campaigning and campaigning to get royalties and recognition. I think she did get it. But she's breaking down how originally the book was connected to the characters and how it's all in one. What would be good though is obviously Tyler Perry and other black directors and stuff. If they could actually take her book and maybe make a black sci-fi, that'd be interesting. But yeah, so that's Sophia Stewart. If you didn't know, now you know. Also, when we always talk about the Matrix as a metaphor, we expanded here by saying come out the third eye Matrix, because we want to give a nod to the sister, because that's her technical lingo that we're gonna use. So if you're gonna say Matrix, now say third eye Matrix. That's her thing. All right, what else we got? What else have we got? Scam it up. Nope. Oh yeah, should I bring that up? It's a bit negative. Only for now. What's this? Oh god, I don't want to. Is it even worth covering stuff? Did you guys watch the Spider-Man, the Black Spider-Man thing? I never saw. I do want to watch it. So there's a cartoon where there's a Black Spider-Man. I think there's a hoo-ha that this Black Spider-Man is. I think he's raised by his black dad. I think his mum might not be around for some. I don't know the reason. But I think in one of the sequels they've given him a European lover. But this is actually the actors who play it, and this is one of the black guy who plays Miles Morales. I think his name is. Let me hear this stuff.
That the entire internet is experiencing secondhand embarrassment for Shameik Moore right now. As a reminder, he's the dude that voices Miles Morales in the Spider-Verse movies, and he starred alongside Haley Steinfeld, who voiced Gwen. Haley just recently announced her engagement to Buffalo Bills quarterback Josh Allen, and a lot of people were over the moon about this. Everyone except maybe Shameik Moore, because why did he post this very cryptic tweet the same day saying there's more people to meet, more opportunities to come, and more chances to try, live, learn, apply? Even though Shameik said that he knew nothing about Haley's engagement, the internet does not believe him. They think that he's crashing out over Haley, that she's the one that got away, and that he's down bad. Especially since Shameik has openly expressed his admiration for Haley in interviews.
Easier to be Miles flirting with Gwen when I'm looking at Haley.
When you're looking at her, right.
I was very happy to work with Haley.
Yeah,
I gotta do this. I gotta make a movie. I'm gonna watch Paper Moon just so I. So you know? Just so I can like be closer to Haley. It's easier looking at Haley being Miles trying to get to Gwen. You know what I mean?
That was a very painfully awkward watch. Yeah, I don't think the internet is going to let him live this down for a while.
Yeah, so I haven't seen it, but I mean, yeah. I just remember because I remember there was a hoo-ha about you know, Black Spider-Man not having a black girlfriend or whatever. And but obviously behind the scenes, the brother acting him clearly didn't want one. It seems that way. Who knows? But yeah, you want to get something that you make out here. We got black women. Right, where are we? What else we got here before we actually start the show? I saw this thing. I just thought it was a bit weird. It was on social media. This is a bit weird as well. So I'm gonna let me mute that because I know I get flagged when I hear trendy music. That's what actually half the videos been blocked because of this stuff. So I don't know who runs this account, and I found it very weird that they've blocked any comments. And I hope it's not nefarious. But it's like hundreds of videos, and it's meant to be like men finding women, but it seems to only ever mention white men finding African or black women. And then that's the ad they paid for was it says 37-year-old Canadian, no kids, HIV negative. I have never been married before, single and searching for black women. I thought I don't know. Is this like a foreign person? Is that a normal thing to say? Is that like a backhanded compliment? I don't know what that is. And obviously, this is the I don't have stock footage of the white models they hire. I've seen AI, probably not. I can see their fingers, so it's not AI. But and when I was looking for, there was a whole lot of this weird cryptic stuff, and I don't know if women. I don't know if you get because of the algorithms, I get a hold of these like white men looking for black women kind of stuff. And just be careful out there, women. Obviously, you know, I don't know what's going on the internet, and obviously I know this is a foreign thing because I also get a lot of these foreign you know, what they call cosmetic things where Eastern Europeans are using black women as models to demonstrate nose jobs. And matter of fact, that's actually something I'm going to show today. Let me just show one more of this. What was it? What was this called? This is called what's it called? Is it hold on. Scam, yeah, no, scam number 2, yeah. So it is. Well, it might be a scam. And then drop that. Don't want music. Here we go. Looking for an African wife, 19 to 40. So. Looking for African wife, 19 to 40 years old, without HIV. It's okay if you're single mom. Like, what is this normal? Like this was like an advert that I got. I don't know if they're like, are they foreign? Like, is this how they go to Africa and do stuff? I don't know. It's a bit weird. Very odd. Are they not? Is English not their first language or something? Whoever's run these accounts, I don't know what's going on. But I just thought it's very fishy. Let me put a link in here so you guys can go to the Instagram and have your own research, whatever. I don't know, it's a bit, but you know, we always look out for black women here, but not that we support any kind of like, you know, not being with a black family kind of thing. But this is what they're doing now. So be safe and practice black love. I recommend it. So that was that. The other way I was. I'll post it. I don't know if you can go to Instagram, but there it is. So I thought it was weird cryptic stuff that I saw like a whole lot of people on this page. Hope this is not catching on. Whatever's going on. Anyway, let me move that out of the way. What else? There was one more thing. Oh yeah, the face stuff, self-hate. So this was Serena Williams.
Out there, I do not bleach my skin. There is a thing called sunlight, and in that sunlight, you get different colors. And if I'm not posting and recorrecting my pictures and posting from my daughter's what is it? She had a play that I was volunteering on and had stage makeup on. Yes, I'm calling you out on this because it is ridiculous that everyone's like, oh, she bleached her skin. I'm a dark Black woman and I love who I am and I love how I look. And that's just not my thing. And if people do it, that's their thing and they have every opportunity and they should. I don't judge. But you guys do. But that's what this world is about. And I stay in my lane, the non-judgy one, and I keep it. But no, I actually don't bleach my skin. So can we just like kind of clear that up?
Yeah, there's a video of her with her European husband, and I think people suspecting that because you know she was bleaching her skin and maybe on something at the time, or maybe she was tired. We're gonna tackle something about fashion and all that, and maybe in a nice way that makes some kind of sense. This was another thing I saw as well. This was one of those kind of European adverts I saw. Don't play those music. There you go. Cut that. I know it's a trendy song, so it will cut flag. There we go. So this is a model they use on some website that I got. I think of the black sister. Obviously, she's done a lot of work down. She's got the blonde weaves, the blue eyes that they're selling. And I suspect her lips has Europeanized the European things they use. I don't know what they call it, whatever. But it's interesting because now they're using black women in their models because obviously they're targeting black women more, and obviously black women are doing what they're doing. These black women, at least, anyway. Yeah, and now I have blue eyes, voila, blonde hair, blue eyes, and obviously everything really. Yeah, okay. But it's just something I was aware of. I thought, okay, that's interesting. You out there, you have the right to spend your money, do what you want. But my personal belief is, if we can market, diversity of looks amongst the black community, and also love Afrocentric love, so that way we can save money on actually not having to pay for augmentations. And that sounds odd and weird, but that I reckon that would be a better strategy rather than looking at a particular group that's popular at the moment and then paying lots of money to look like them, especially if they're European or Asian or not black. But yeah, this ideas. What do I know? What else? Is that it? Should I jump into the show, or should I just let me see if there's any more fantastic videos that all the stuff is just saying the same thing, really. Oh, that's part of the show. What's up here? Yeah, let's start the show. Cool. So let's go back to the thingamajig, and I think have I done it? I have. We'll cancel that for now, and then go back here. I think I've corrected the spelling. Never. I think yes, magic. So what should we start? Should we start bad intentions and buck break? Which one do I have more videos on? Let me check. Give me 14 seconds, family. Quite a lot of twos and only one. So let's go for the banter. That's actually like the more sciencey kind of stuff. Yeah. So what it is as you know, for many years I debate. I go to meetings. I talk on shows and streaming stuff, and I see patterns. And the ancestors and learned black people really talk about this. But what I'm trying to do here with your help is to make it easier to communicate to our brothers and sisters all over the world, and give us templates, tactics, tools, traditions that make it easier to push ideas across or to try to get us back on track. So the thing I want to talk about is whenever you try to announce you want to do something for black people. So I remember I was going to speak his call. I remember there was a Muslim brother, and he was a cool guy. And he goes, I've seen you on the internet, man. It's like, you do a lot of good things, and I'm inspired, but you use the term black, and because of the mosque I go to or whatever it is, or the community I'm in, I can't just be seen doing things for black people. So can you change the word to something else? And he was, he wasn't helped, but he was scared by this because he thought that, And then there were some other people who went to the same mosque, and they were saying, the issue there is, they help us. We go there, we help Pakistani people from, North Africa, whatever. But when we ask to help like black youth for that, they never want to come and support whatever and this kind of stuff, or they never want to, do any kind of effort or anything. So this is something. So this is not new. But I thought, okay, let me try to really put this into a way that I can communicate. And the bad intentions model is what I reckon we should use. So what is that? Let me actually break that down. So bad intentions. So it's like this. Non-black people, self-sabotaging black people, So when non-black people and self-sabotaging black people are aware of black people deciding to practice Black Betterment, this can trigger a social systematic phenomenon known as B.A.D. B.A.D. intentions. So what I'm saying is, if you're gonna speak about like, okay, let's come together and let's do something for self, let's do something for black community, what you tend to find is self-sabotaging black people or unsynchronized black people, as well as non-black people or anti-black racists, are all combined, whatever. The first thing they do is they go for the B. So in the bad intentions, we highlight the word B, and then we expand that. We say B is benefit. So yeah, you guys can do that, but can we do it? So they want to benefit or be the beneficiaries of it. Like, no, let me, and you're going to see me if you look at my old debates, and they go, why can't we help? You know, and then when you say it's okay, you see them really get aggressive. Like, no, I really want to help. Kind of like the Arab lady we just saw, where she's trying to help a black woman. And when the black woman say no thanks, it's not your lady, she's getting aggressive. Like, why can't I help? And then you see pictures of her with an afro and with a black boyfriend. So you're really trying to benefit from black people as much as possible, and essentially become in the leadership role. You see. So the first B in the bad intentions stands for benefit. That whenever you do something, they want to benefit, and if they can benefit and be the beneficiary, then they're best pleased, and then whatever you're doing can go on. We had a gentleman here not so long ago, and even though the show is called Black Betterment, he spent the entire like 3 hours really saying we need to unite with all people, and he started giving analogies about Disney films and and all sorts whatever, and he got really aggressive. All power to him, very very talented individual, but his whole thing was we need to work as a unit. So once again, whenever we discuss about fixing ourselves, we have the brothers and sisters who are of the world. When they hear these kind of concepts, they're trying to make other people benefit or be the beneficiaries of it. And I'm going to expand why that is after this as well. There's another model that I have to show you, but we'll go there in a bit. Now, if they cannot benefit, if you put your foot down and say, no, you're not going to benefit from what we're doing, this is for black people because we need it, but we haven't recovered from being conquered, whatever, right? Then they go, okay, you know what? If that's the case, I'm going to then what's A? Annihilate. So they're going to annihilate, they're going to completely shut it down. And you're going to see that as well. Like, no, if you're not going to help other people, if people can't benefit what you're doing, it has to shut down. No. And you'll see that in debates. You'll see it all over the place. And I want you to go out and I want you to actually have these discussions and do the test for yourself to see if you get the same kind of response that we will observe. And then, obviously, if what you're doing cannot be annihilated, if they cannot shut it down, then they go to D, the last one, the third one, and that is delay. They're going to try to delay things as long as possible. Like, maybe tomorrow, or it's never really going to work. Like, you keep saying this black thing, but who are black? Black's a social construct. They try to do all these kinds of things to delay it, to make to second guess it, to slow it down. So that's the bad intentions. B, benefit. A, annihilate, and D, delay. Let me know if you get the same kind of process or if they jump in whichever order, because that's what we're going to do. Now, before we move on, and we've explained that, I want to talk about the error. The error. And I think this is a good model to use to justify why so many black people, I mean, there's other models, but I like this one. Why so many black people are this bent on make a decision that doesn't work in the collective best interest of black people. And I would say that since black people were in mass targeted, so I've looked at research to see like when was it documented that we must stop these black people. And the earliest I can see is in the trans-Saharan slave trade, 650 AD, when they were arresting, when they were enslaving, this is the Arabs, enslaving black people, particularly in mass. They called them Sudan and other words to blackface and this kind of stuff. This is like the beginning where this kind of like identifying black people by location, skin phenotype and hair phenotype, whatever it is, and enslaving them based on it. So I would say that once this happened, we are now at the beginning of the era. And it seems that through being dominated for so many years, and then obviously you have the transatlantic slave trade and neo-colonization and colonization and apartheid and Jim Crow and all kind of laws throughout the lands, whatever. This, I would say that all this should be registered as the era. And unfortunately, by living in the era, if we don't have something like Black Betterment or a concept that makes you love yourself, everything you do will benefit others or be self-sabotaging. So everything you do, if you don't have any kind of template, any kind of Black Betterment, any kind of concept that keeps you on track, you're going to find that everything you say and do will be done for the benefit of other groups. And I suspect that's what we have been gone through for so many generations, right? And I think I would like to use the term that we are in the era. And if we're in the era, everything we're going to do will be error-prone, will be error-based. Because without a guide, we're going to use the tools that were given to us, and the tools that were given to us to destroy us, you see? It really was. And that's why usually we promote Black love and this kind of stuff, Black economics. And they'll say, love is no color. This is obviously an ideology doesn't work with Black people. I think there was a nice video here. Let me show it. This is a gentleman talking about Jewish people and business. Where is that? Business of the DJ. Oh, we should play both of those, to be honest. But I've got, you know what, this era song. I've got a few things here. There we go. Boom. You said let's do this era.
Jewish businesses just because they're Jewish. Oh, no, Jews are much smarter than that. Jews will tell you, all things being equal, quality, value, and service. See, I could tell you to buy from a black, but you ain't getting quality, value, and service. You ain't stupid. You're not going to waste your money. But all things being equal, seeing quality, value, and service, I'm a Jew, you're a Jew. That's the tiebreaker. But all things have to be equal first. Yeah, there may be a brother that is of equal quality, value, and service, and, Jews love black people. But no, they're going to do business, generally speaking, with their own kind first, all things being equal.
So what this brother's trying to say is, as Jewish people, once they get a certain quality threshold, if there's a Jewish company and a black company, the Jewish company will always be given first dibs because of a code and describing that. So this is black people. We don't understand that. We'll see that something like that is wrong, or we'll make a fuss and then pour attention to this kind of thinking, whatever, and that's because we are in the era where other people, they understand this kind of stuff. Let's look at Neely Full and see what he has to say about this.
Racism are the victims.
Okay.
This is why they haven't overcome it. Black people do not have racism as their priority. And wake up every morning thinking about how they're going to get rid of racism. The average black person on the planet wakes up in the morning thinking about what? Well, they may be thinking about a lot of things, but they're not thinking about getting rid of racism. And that's what exactly every black person on this planet should wake up in the morning thinking about and go to bed thinking about each and every day with each and every breath that he or she takes. But we got every kind of nonsensical priority other than that.
Okay.
Yet we complain about our condition. And that is the reason we're in this condition.
There you go. Need Fuller trying to give some jewels there. And that's what I'm saying. You need some kind of guidance, some consistency. And that's why without Black Betterment, you're in the era where everything we do will be problematic. You see, without guidance, let's see what this brother has to say. This is similar kind of.
Our children about the psychopathically racist way of Europeans, but we've taught them to aspire to success behaving like Europeans. So you're having this. Our children are getting slapped and knocked down because they don't understand who they're dealing with. They think that racism doesn't exist. So they're approaching it like they don't exist. And then the European response is a European and they don't understand. They'll get into an encounter with a cop and they'll think, oh, I'm a US citizen. And they don't understand. They're the target. They're the threat.
You see one more video. So we're talking about the era. Wow, by living in the era, if you don't understand what's going on, you're always gonna be doing things that don't work in your collective best interest. I saw this was a nice video as well. This one here, European man trying to explain something. Let's see what you're saying.
On the radio every day in white-owned companies, white-owned stations with white-owned sponsors that play the role of hypersexualized, hypercriminalized male. I asked these advertisers, I say, I've got hundreds of songs a day that celebrate killing animals. Will you put them on your station? They said, no. I got hundreds of songs a day that talk about assaulting women and abusing kids. Would you put them on your station? They said, no. I said, I got hundreds of songs a day that talk about murdering blacks. Would you put them on your stations? They said, well, that depends. Depends on what? Who it's done by and who it's branded for. Because if we can get black folks to sing about it, and we can brand it for our youngest black audiences, I think there's money to be made. I think there's American appetites to see these people that way. I said, how can you say that? They said, well, look, it's what these artists know. It's what they, black people, create. It's, matter of fact, our surveys say it's what they want to hear, which speaks of a sickness. How do we live in a society where somebody says, you know what, I'm inspired to write a song that celebrates murdering another person. And then a person says, I'd like to put that on my station. Another person said, I'd like to pay for it. And then there's people out here in the audience that go, I'd love to hear it, as long as it's black guys. Because even white people buy rap music, buy this type of stuff, because we know that when we want to hear about killing each other, we know who to turn to for that type of inspiration. We call it our music. We say we own it. White people buy more rap than black people. Yeah, but we're very careful to turn it down at the stoplight when other black people are there. Why? Because we know we're just pretending. For them, it's more authentic and real. I always ask the companies, what about your name? What about your brand? What about your value? And the largest radio company in the world said this: it's okay.
All right, so that's a snippet from some dude. Looks like a TED kind of talk. Yeah, it's TED talk, and he's talking about his community, how they benefit from radio and pushing negative kind of stereotypes that black people produce on the behalf of other groups, whatever. And he's saying that when he spoke to them, are you concerned? They said no. And I think we unpacked this last week, where it's like when rap first came, rappers were making fun of every single group in the world, but as time went by, they're just making fun of themselves, or their own community, their own women, their own culture, their own faces, their own stuff. The love interests of all the rappers would have been black women, but as time goes by, it'll be other women, and you'd be lucky to see a black woman at all nowadays. And then obviously new genders and new love and interests will happen, and these things will come forward. So yeah, it was interesting. Big up everyone in the house who's like, big up Brother Dominic, big up Everything's Everything, big up Only Salsa, big up everyone, and big up Brother Leon who's joined us live. So welcome, family.
Welcome back, Raven. No, I love this video that you posted and you showing, and I just realized that I think everything is just illusion.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Yes.
What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. It's like I think what we're talking about is a concept of error, and I think what it is because black people, African people have been dominated for so long, and we're living in that domination. If we don't have a guide on what we say Black Betterment, everything we think is good will work against us. So you'll have people who will like openly make fun of their own women. They'll use derogatory terms to describe ourselves, and they'll honestly believe in their mind that that's a good thing. And that's because they're in the error. But that's why we need guys to say, no, let us use more positive language. Let's try to control our own economics. Let's try to uphold our women and our men. But obviously, this will be very alien to them.
Yes, of course.
So, so by recognizing the error we're in, and we're in the error, where everything we do is error prone, everything. But if we don't have a guide, we'll continue going through problematic stuff. Speaking of error, I forgot to mention as well that we covered the manosphere, which is a community of men who are very critical about black women, whatever it is, and also just critical about everything. So we covered a brother who spoke few days ago. He actually messaged one of the things. So let me see if I can read out. I think I invited him to the show, and if he's listening, by all means, you can jump in, fam, at some point. Let me see what he was saying. Did he come back? There we go. Let me read his message. So this was a brother who, just to give you some context, and he was saying because he gave me a new word that I wasn't familiar with, and that word was SYSBM, and I wrote that down, and that stands for, what is it? It stands for Save Yourself, Black Man. So it's a movement of black men called Save Yourself, Black Man, and these are black men who are not best pleased in the black community of dating black women, and they want to save themselves by finding the daughters of white men, this kind of stuff. But they also don't like, many of them, black community in general. And and he wrote, "I'm not broken, Rap Raven. I'm not broken, Rap Raven, and we SYSBM black men don't owe the black community nothing." So once again, individualism. He's typing, "Pro-blacks like you ignore the major problems that's going on in the black relationships, and you live in fairy tale land. You're fighting a losing battle that you cannot win because not every black man is going to date a black woman. And how dare you question my ethnicity because you don't know me or my family?" What he's saying is that he says that his great granddad or someone was half Chinese or something. I don't know if I mentioned. I don't know, we also said that when someone shows self-hating techniques, especially from the Caribbean, they always draw from alleged ancestry from other groups. So my great-great-granddad was half Chinese, my great-great-grandma ate Chinese food, whatever, right? Or this kind of stuff. They'll never mention being black African. This is something they want to move away from. And this shows you the psychology that many deal with. But we can carry on. And he says, "You keep on doing videos about me. Also, you find my YouTube channel first before I knew you even existed. Finally, I'm not conquered, or nor am I a slave because I live my life freely. Finally, SYSBM is not a manosphere group as we live our own lives on our own terms. Plus, I don't have any self-hate. Sure. Well, and we wish wellness to that brother, and obviously that there's so many movies that come up that maybe they don't want to connect with the manosphere. They have all the manosphere talking points, but people are free to brand themselves as they wish. But bro, his name is Brother Quincy. You're always welcome to jump on to explain your position. But this was the legacy of us covering black men who didn't like black women, and also they don't like black people themselves. The black race. But that's just a positive thing. So now let's just carry on with the era. Let's see if there's any other videos. Yeah. So let me do a recap for those who are joining. Here we go. Where's this PDF? So we were talking about bad intentions, right? We were talking about whenever brothers and sisters are trying to do constructive things, as in black people to work with black people, we call this concept Black Betterment. If you do it around certain kind of people, if you do it right in public, you might get pushback. You're probably likely to get pushback. And I'm saying we should frame this in the bad intentions dynamics of saying there's a hierarchy, and the first is B, which is benefit. Yeah. They allow you to help black people if they can benefit. You see, so that's the B. If you shut that down, they go to the A, which is annihilate, meaning that okay, if you're not gonna let us to come in and benefit from what you're doing, we want to shut it down completely. If you manage to stop them from doing that, what they do is they go boom. Number 3, D. I want to delay what you're doing. I'm going to try to slow this down as fast as possible, so it takes longer and longer and longer. This is the bad intentions we're talking about. I would like people, whenever you go out in the world and you want to practice Black Betterment or you want to network from brothers and sisters, I want to see if you see the same pattern, this bad intentions pattern of the B, the A, the D, the benefit, the annihilate, and the delay. Let me know, because we're pushing this out. But we're also talking about we live in the era, you see? And what that means is because of the constant bombardment of hate and domination that black people have gone through historically and today.
Of course.
Whenever we think we're making a good decision, it might work against us. I just read out a whole pamphlet, a whole paragraph, of what a brother was going through, and he said a whole lot of things that completely shows that he might have some kind of self-hatred concept, but he ended by saying, I don't hate myself, I don't hate black people, whatever it is. So when you live in the era, that is possible, because left is right, up is down, and all sorts, right? So this is what we're pushing today. So this is the first topic, and we've hit half time. If there's any questions in the forums, let us know. We're joined by Brother Leon, a contributor here, a newcomer, but I definitely appreciate contributor. And we're now going to, if you've got any questions, brother, you feel free to ask while I find the other stuff.
No. Just keep going.
Cool. So we're gonna move to this one's a bit more unfortunate. This is buck breaking black men. We discuss why anti-black racists openly talk about sexually abusing black men. Where does this come from? So it's a bittersweet thing. Unfortunately, as you know, there was many black men, UK black men, that went to America and they won a suspected white supremacist show, and he was mocking black women, and they were laughing and giggling with him, and there was a backlash. And obviously people said, don't do that. You don't mistreat black women. And I think the rapper Kendrick Lamar made a song where he mentioned it and said, white racists or white men don't mistreat black women. And I think the white racist, or the suspected racist, he got wind of it and he wasn't best pleased, and he said this stuff. So let me see if I can find what he said, and we'll tie into the topic of the show. So is it number 2? No, it's number 1. Number one. And we see if I've got that one. Oh, yeah, it must be that one. Yeah, this one. So let's have a sneak peek about this.
Whatever, I'm not a tough guy, y'all. But just Kendrick, I would make love to him, and there's nothing he could do about it. Just Kendrick Lamar, I would make love to him, and the only thing that he could do is decide if it's consensual. That's the only thing he could do. If it's me and Kendrick, this is about physics. It's about physics. I don't even know if I'll get hard. But if we're in a cell, there's a chance that if we're in a cell and we're bored and we done tattooing each other, whatever you do in the cell, and we ran out of board games and we did all the other things, we cleaned everything, and I'm like, man, I might as well fuck you. There's nothing he could physically do to stop that besides put his legs in the air and choose a position. Maybe I'll let him choose a
Why are you
position.
pulling this picture up, Mark? Why are you doing this?
Look at, put up that picture of him and Travis Kelce's girl. Look at that shit.
Oh my God, dude, that's unbelievable.
Yo, I'll be honest. I would go so far as to say I don't think he could stop most people on the planet from having sex with him. Like, the only reason he got security is to stop people from having sex with him whenever he wants. Now, don't get me wrong, there's people who could fuck me against my will. I was in an elevator once with this drag queen, and this motherfucker was like 6'5".
Oh, yeah.
And we're in the elevator, and we're going down. I'm like, yo, if he wanted to take it, I gotta cause a ruckus or something like that. Like, don't shoot with.
All right, so let's break it down. So this is the gentleman who, or just the man, I guess, who he had UK guys on his show, and they were mistreating black women, talking about some stuff about them that wasn't productive or positive. And what happened is, and I want black women to be aware of this, that whenever black men defend you, this is what we will be facing. Whenever we promote being with you, we'll face similar things as well. So this is what I'm saying, like the constant barrage against black people. But so obviously he mentioned this European guy, and obviously he wasn't best pleased he's done that. You notice that he's got guests on. He's got a black guest who's there. I can't really see much, but he's got an Asian guest who's laughing constantly at everything he's saying. If you look, he stops like every few seconds to laugh, and it looks almost artificial or odd. But yeah, but the reason we bring it up is because obviously he wasn't the crime that Kendrick did was defending black women, and the response to that crime was, "I'm going to sexually abuse you." You see, that's and this for black men, this is unheard of. Like, who would say such a thing? Like, where does that come from? We would never think of such. This is like the base and completely, an abomination, really. But there is a history of Europeans doing this kind of behavior to control black men, you see. And we're going to unpack that now. I warned you, we're going to go through history and we're going to learn about what happened. So if you're very squeamish, maybe turn off now, but we're going to play a 10-minute video about the history of muckraking, you see. Let's see if we can find it. So let's find this. Let me hear it.
The alpha, the rest of the men beat them almost to.
But this is, I saw this video, this might be connected. Let's see this first as well.
Yes. The rest of the men beat them almost to death.
And he said it will scare the women so bad that they will stop depending on those men. He said what we'll do is we'll reverse nature.
Right.
In a woman's natural state, she will naturally depend on her men. That's how God created us. We love feeling safe, we love feeling secure, and men love giving that. That is just natural.
That's how it should be.
And he said once those women see that, they will become in a frozen, independent state. And what they will do is they will raise all of their young men to be weak and docile,
but only in their minds.
In their
mind,
but
strong
physically
in body,
strong, because she don't want them to die. And she will create her daughters to be the same as her,
independent,
to be independent and not to lean on those men. And he said we will not have to do any work anymore. Those women will make sure that those men never rise up again.
Right.
And I think the devil has always known that.
Right.
If you want to get a group of people, get their males.
If you want to get to
make the men silent.
So, and then let's talk about this. Here we go. Black break. Here we go. So let's have this 10 minutes or so.
History's darkest shadows, there lies a painful truth that we must confront. Within this harrowing tale, we discover the unimaginable suffering endured by African men who were enslaved and subjected to the unspeakable whims of their white masters. In this video, we will uncover 5 chilling and heart-wrenching ways in which these men were forced into unimaginable acts of indecent exploitation, their sense of worth and dignity trampled upon in the name of dominance and control. Before we get right into the video, please smash the like button and subscribe to the channel to keep informed of our eye-opening black narrative. Number 5. Rape. One significant aspect of the abuse experienced by enslaved African men was the rape committed by male slave owners, merchants, and overseers. These acts occurred both in the United States and in the Caribbean, where the slave system was prevalent. Enslaved men were often raped on ships during the transatlantic journey, as well as at secret sex farms and seasonal plantations owned by homosexual slave owners. Due to the pervasive social norms of the time and the existing power dynamics, these men faced numerous barriers to reporting their abuse. They often hesitated to voice their experiences, fearing retribution, further punishment, or being disbelieved. Furthermore, the notion of enslaved men being raped by other men, especially those who were married or had multiple partners, was met with skepticism and disbelief by society. Lack of physical evidence further compounded the issue. Unlike enslaved women, who could become pregnant as a result of sexual violence, enslaved men did not bear visible physical signs of abuse or the ability to conceive. This lack of tangible evidence contributed to the dismissal and disbelief of their experiences. Despite these challenges, accounts and testimonies have emerged to shed light on the extent of the indecent exploitation endured by enslaved African men. These narratives reveal that many of these men were forced to engage in sexual acts with their masters' wives when the masters were absent. White mistresses, often driven by notions of racial superiority and the desire for physical pleasure, would exploit the physical strength and physique of African male slaves for their own sexual gratification. Number 4, buck breaking. The practice known as buck breaking.
So this is what the suspected white supremacist guy, what the history that was alluding to, of like how to dominate and shut up black men, have black men fall in line to what you're trying to do. This is the process they call buck breaking.
Was a particularly cruel and sadistic method employed by white supremacists and slave owners to assert dominance, humiliate, and subjugate enslaved men. Buck breaking was prevalent in the Caribbean and other parts of the Americas where slavery thrived, especially during periods of increased slave rebellions. The objective of this brutal practice was to strip enslaved men of their dignity, emasculate them, and instill fear among the slave population. By subjecting them to public sexual abuse, the white oppressors sought to degrade these men both physically and psychologically. The process of buck breaking typically began with the public humiliation and physical punishment of the enslaved man. Stripped naked, he was subjected to severe floggings in front of an assembled crowd, which often included other slaves. This public spectacle served as a means to dehumanize and debase the individual, reducing him to a mere object of amusement and terror. Following the flogging, the enslaved man would be raped by a white man, often the slave owner or a designated buck breaker. This act of sexual violence was intended to assert dominance over the enslaved individual, reinforce the power dynamics of slavery, and send a chilling message to other slaves who dared to challenge their oppressive conditions. The accounts of enslaved individuals who survived this horrifying ordeal reveal the immense psychological trauma they endured. Sons were forced to witness the brutal rape of their fathers, forever scarred by the harrowing image of their patriarchs being reduced to objects of sexual abuse. One notable account that sheds light on the practice of buck breaking comes from the narrative of Frederick Douglass, a prominent abolitionist and former slave. Although he did not personally experience buck breaking, he witnessed its occurrence and eloquently described the brutalities inflicted upon enslaved men in his autobiographical works. His story, Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave, provides a compelling first-hand account of the dehumanization and exploitation endured by enslaved African men. Harriet Jacobs, another enslaved African-American woman, penned Incidents in the Life of a Slave Girl, which also exposes the sexual abuse inflicted upon male slaves. While she does not explicitly mention buck breaking, she speaks to the systemic and pervasive nature of indecent exploitation within the institution of slavery. The devastating consequences of buck breaking cannot be understated. Enslaved men who underwent this traumatic experience often faced long-lasting physical and psychological effects, including depression, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and a profound sense of shame and emasculation. Many chose to end their lives, while others attempted to escape the horrors of slavery, never to return. Number 3.
Works out on the breeding farms. It's getting quite intense. Then we go to the end. I think they mentioned at the end that might be important.
Targeting the
Hold on, family. Those are joining us now. We're talking about buck breaking. There was a European guy, a racist guy, who was not best pleased that Kendrick Lamar was defending black women. So he started talking about sexually assaulting him. And we look at the history of when Europeans did that to Africans, white people to black people. where it comes from, and why you don't really find black men doing that kind of talk, but you find it quite prevalent in Europeans when they're making fun of black men or when they're trying to dominate black men. It's kind of the ease in which it rolls off their tongue.
Incidents, but rather widespread practices that aim to instill fear and deter any resistance. Enslaved men who demonstrated leadership qualities or were involved in rebellious activities were particularly targeted for castration. By stripping them of their reproductive abilities, white masters sought to undermine their authority and diminish their perceived threat. Men who organized and led slave revolts or rebel groups were labeled as women in an attempt to degrade and demoralize them. The castration and mutilation of African men served to crush their spirit, strip them of their pride, and erase their sense of identity. These acts were meant to assert white dominance and control over the bodies and sexuality of enslaved individuals. By targeting the reproductive capabilities of enslaved men, white masters aimed to diminish their role as fathers, husbands, and protectors within their communities, further destabilizing familial and social structures. Number 1, entertaining.
To the end. 1 second.
This knowledge allows us to acknowledge the resilience and strength of those who inherent in the slave system, where they were treated as property and denied the basic rights afforded to free individuals. The purpose of these acts was to reinforce white supremacy, maintain control over enslaved individuals, and perpetuate a culture of racial dominance. By confronting the painful history of indecent exploitation endured by enslaved African men, we can strive for a more comprehensive.
So this is the history of buckbreaking and why you do find that there are a few non-black people or European white people who will go to these kind of talking points when it comes to trying to insult or mock black people or black men particularly. So that's the history of it. Hopefully that wasn't too strong for the listeners. I know sometimes it can get quite hard, but that's that's what we're about here, learning and trying to prevent. So hopefully that was somewhat beneficial.
So you saw, the buck dancing. Is it like, I thought when you stand up for yourself, you be resilient. Is it like they're trying to shut you down of who you are?
What it is you tend to find that men defend the community and men defend women, and what would happen is they would want African men to be completely subservient and listen to everything. So they had to, they realized that certain things weren't working, like whipping and beating wasn't working. So other strategy they would use would be sexual dominance, sexual male-to-male intercourse, this kind of thing. And this was used to demoralize and to dominate and to completely shatter the African, the black person, so they could be completely subservient. Yeah, and that was one strategy they did. And they call that process buckbreaking, and that's why. I mean, there's other things like, for example, they would never call a man a man; they would call a man a boy. And so even today, you might see Europe, especially in America, in the South, and in certain places in England, they will refer to black men as boys. And they even went as far as to say women in this, that they will even say women, they refer to black men as women. And this is because they're trying to destroy your pride. They're trying to, they're trying to break you down so you don't resist. You don't resist, and everything they say is gospel and golden. So it was a complete strategy. And once again, because we live in era, as we were saying before, we live in the legacy of that. So much was done to black people that, we can't even think of a constructive way to fix our community. That's why we have to have guidance. We have to have templates. And that's what this show's about. It's about giving people that guidance and templates based upon study, research, and what the ancestors have done, and collate it together and finding an efficient way to operate to improve the collective inadequacies of our community.
I think that's what Kwesi needs to do. I think he needs to acknowledge his story. I don't blame him for what he's going through and why he's attacking you like that. I just feel like black men really need to acknowledge themselves of who they are. And then when you know your story, you know what to do to take accountability as a man, not really attacking and not really not know who they are. So when you told me about Kwesi, I was very shocked. I just feel like I don't think he really acknowledged the history.
No, you're right. And the thing is, we understand, once again, we talk about being in the era, and because so many black people all black people after enslavement are in this era, so they know what they do. That's why you will find black men who will fight you when you are trying to talk about how to improve the community.
Yeah.
If you break that down, it's not a normal thing. But so conquered, so controlled are we, so much in the era we are at the moment, that
No, of course.
right is left and left is up and all sorts. So, talking to a black person about solutions, you're almost like you're almost making fun of their mother. And that's
Yeah.
that's how they're seeing it. But yeah. So family, let's go. Let's recap on what we've done. So this we've dealt with bad intentions, the 3 stages of how people will try to ruin your chances of black betterment. We talk about B, they want to benefit. If they can't benefit, they want to A, annihilate. If they can't annihilate, they want to D, delay. And we call that bad intentions. So anytime you try to do something, go out in the world, test it, see if those 3 things don't come up. The bad intentions, the B, the A, the D, the bad, the benefit, the annihilate, or the delay. We also unfortunately talk about butt breaking and the history of it. And this comes from Kendrick Lamar trying to defending black women, I should say. And obviously the suspected white supremacist gentleman then getting defensive and trying to go to the history of bucking or butt breaking to try to claim his manhood, try to dominate in the media because he was obviously put in his place and he didn't like that, And this is they always try to connect it to history and systems to make their views more powerful. That's what we're observing. So that was the 2 major topics. We're obviously joined by Brother Leon, a new contributor, but a very important contributor.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, brother. And obviously we bring up Brother Dominic for the work he does. Also, Everything's Everything, big you up, and Only Salsa. And everyone else who's in there, those who are more quiet and they're more listeners, you're always welcome at some point to give your view, or you can type in the forum any questions you have. And we tend to have a 1-hour show, and then after 1 hour we talk to the community. If there is no questions, we tend to end the show. Now let me see if there's any videos that I should have played that I didn't get time to play on. Because I've got tons to be honest. So let's look at what should we do? What are we dealing with? Let's see. Error. We're looking at the error stuff. We've got a lot of that done. Scam. We've done that. Miss Universe. Let's not cover that. Well, this was interesting. The work. So let me close. So remember I told you that we come. So words like bad intentions, error. These are tools that we've put out there for people to use to make communicating easier. The enemies of black people do it as well. There was once a term called woke. There is a term called woke.
Yeah.
That comes from being aware, being like, oh, you're aware of something, so you're going to act differently towards it. They've taken the LGBT community took this and flipped it somehow, and then the anti-black or the right wing or whoever have now tried to rebrand this as a negative word.
Just trying to demonize it.
So here's a sister who asks a question on TV.
Some people who will see this and they'll say that this is a woke version of a Welsh family. I can see you rolling your eyes. Tell me.
If anybody wants to say that to me, what I would say first is explain what you mean by woke and then we can have the conversation. If you can't explain it, don't hand me that word. Don't use a word you cannot describe because you don't know what you mean. Or maybe you know exactly what you mean and you're afraid to say what you mean. So let's have that conversation. I'm not even afraid. You daren't. Do you know what I mean?
I do.
Sit there and tell me what you mean by woke. And then we can talk about whether this show is woke or not. Because then I will introduce you to a family just like this one. So are you saying they don't exist when they clearly do? Are you saying that they're not allowed to exist? What do you mean by that? Let's have a proper conversation. Don't throw words around willy-nilly when you're not afraid to say exactly what you mean. If you don't know, please be quiet because you are incredibly boring.
Absolutely. Reiki.
So the thing is, when you get Europeans to use the term woke in general, you should also suspect that they're on some kind of like anti-black agenda, or they're not best pleased with something that's happening. It's very important. And the fact that it's now on mainstream TV where they're using this revised words of woke to to mention something negative. That's how words travel. That's how social media work, and that's why we have to have our combative words or words used to help Black people. But just to unpack this, I don't know what this is about, but I suspect there's a Black Welsh family in some show, and they're not best pleased. There's all of the things that they claim, is woke or whatever. And one of the things is getting more LGBTQ kind of people that they put that there. That's not really what we cover here. But they're also getting more Black families or what it is, and that they count that as woke. I think what they were saying I saw the other day, I can't remember what it was. It's something with Black families. But what I was saying is actually that two things. The overall Black Betterment solution is this comes from European people in a room, and they're trying to get quotas, and they're putting black man, white woman, and they're putting an LGBT white Black woman, and they're ticking boxes, right? What I'm saying is the best thing is for Black people to come together, create media, and make Black-owned productions where you just have wholesome Black stuff. That is the overall solution. If you want to talk about being included in other, people's narratives or their industries. I might do it next week or a few weeks on how to unravel Blackness in these places. So, for example, we should know that if, like, James Bond is historically, as far as we're aware, a white man. So if you just bring out tomorrow James Bond as a Black man, there's going to be a backlash, and so you have to be aware strategy. Like, if you're trying to help Black people, that you're going to create backlash, right? So the easy solution is create supporting characters that are Black, or have a spin-off called 007, 008 or 6 or whatever it is, and make that guy Black, whatever. If this is what you want, but there's also other things you could do, like go to in shows where people historically were actually originally Black but turned white and turn them black. There's so many things you can do. But once again, it's not really my area of interest. My area of interest is Black people controlling the narrative. And I think Brother Umar explains Pan-Africanism, and I think within his concept of Pan-Africanism, he talks about the 3 tendencies, and this might be quite handy because I think what I said is somewhere amongst that.
Excellent.
Africanism can be summed up in 3 basic principles. Number 1, all African people constitute a single human family. We are one people, no matter what our religion is, no matter what our nationality is, no matter what language we speak, we are still one family, and we should identify as African first. So it's not just enough to know you're African, you must prioritize your Africanity. So you're never a Christian who happens to be an African, you're an African who happens to be a Christian. God made you African. Your family made you Christians. Being Black, being African is the most divine. It is the most sacred group membership you have, and we should prioritize it. Principle 2, as Africa goes, so goes all African people. If we want to be strong, if we want to be respected, Africa has to be strong. Africa has to be respected. None of us can do better than the continent we come from. Principle number 3, self-determination. Everything that is to be done for African people must be done by African people. We build our organizations exclusively with Black people. We fund our organizations exclusively with Black money. We build our families exclusively with Black women and Black men. Everything must be all Black everything. Self-determination.
We got Brother Umar. So saying similar, pretty much same thing there. And this is the challenge, because we're in the era. Explaining that to brothers and sisters, they'll have a heart attack. They'll be very uncomfortable. So we try to find ways to make that come across easier, because once again we're in the era. So even that, just speaking about how to get out of it, how to become structured, how to improve, will cause tremendous anxiety, because unfortunately many Black people are comfortable with the subservient role, the waiting role, or just having others do for self role. So this is why like you have to have a template, you have to have a lifestyle, and that's what this broadcast is about. Now, family, I am going to end the show soon. Is there any questions, anything that people like to cover before I end the show? Or, like I said, the show is for the community, so I'll go as long as we need. Well, is there any questions out there in the forum or on the panel of any you would like to tackle, either what we tackled today or just in general?
No, I'm just happy to keep going and being around with you, Brave, and I feel like it's been like an inner circle, and I'm just happy to keep going and keep growing. I feel like I'm kind of like a chosen one to be the solution to change the world. You know.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing. It starts with us. It starts with the individuals, what we do, and then how we connect with others. So
Yes.
I'm happy to hear that there's something you're hearing on the broadcast that you resonate with, and we're happy to network and to talk and to use experiences to try to find a common solution for all Black people.
Yes.
And the fact that you're here means a lot, because that what you're doing is you're giving confidence for those who are listening, either now or in future times, that they too can have their opinion. They can come on and we can network and work together, and we can stress test ideas to try to find a very important solution for the community.
Definitely.
So big up yourself, brother. You've been very important in what you're doing, and keep doing it.
Thank you so much, brother.
There you go. So what we're going to do before we go, family, what definition of racism do we use? That's very important. So the definition of racism, that there's so many, but essentially what Neely Fuller and Francis Cress Welsh can describe is quite straightforward, where it's like people who identify as white mistreating those identified not as white and creating a system to do that. You see, I've made it very simple there, but we talk about racism as a system. We understand bigotry exists, that you might not like someone because of their nose or their skin or whatever, but that is essentially forms of bigotry. But if when we talk about racism, we talk about the race system, and unfortunately, Black people are the biggest, most afflicted by the race system. And the race system was set up by the Europeans. This is how we're taught to understand racism. So
I think I just think they don't acknowledge it. I think they just still buy into this illusion like love is love, and it's just blind. Like me, I didn't understand what it is, and then I was just ignorant, and I was just living by illusion. But until I started to acknowledge it, I just feel like it's within them that they're being taught by their parents, and I've been taught by slavery. You see the difference. In school, I've been taught about slavery, but we never taught about racism in school. But it was racism probably by their parents within them.
Yeah, you're right. So this is why we want to create institutions that teach us, because if non-Black people are teaching about the history of racism, they're not going to teach it. They'll teach it in a Eurocentric way that kind of creates a white savior complex and inferiority. Sorry, everything is everything. The question is the word cracker racist to you? Interesting word. So the history of the word cracker, it comes from the Cracker Man, and that was the man who would I don't know if you know this, would whip the whip, which they call the cracker. So whenever the Cracker Man was coming, they said the cracker's coming. And Black people would use the Cracker Man as a metaphor as someone who's holding him down. So when they called white people the cracker, it came from that history. That was where it came from. Now, is that racist? No. Today, is the word cracker used as a bigger term? Yes, to some it could be. Does that account to racism? No. You could argue bigotry if you wanted, even though there's a history of where it comes from. But we don't. I wouldn't go around. I don't try to equalize black and white as equally racist or whatever it is. We've been told by the ancestors the race system, and that is how racism works. And we make a distinction between that race system and bigotry. So we wouldn't. But saying that, I would definitely recommend Black people do not use derogatory terms towards any groups for two very important reasons. One, it can be interpreted as not nice, and two, it can be used to undermine Black progress. So you take whichever one of those you think is most important. But I strongly recommend you stay calm, collective, and constructive. You don't try to be riled up by anti-Black racists because it will always be used against you. Always think about strategy over stress, organization over outrage, tactics over trauma. You've always got to think that way.
That's it.
So if you can do that, family, you'll be in best company and you'll be in the best place. Let's see if there's only one more video before we go. If there's anything else there. We're on the Umar section, so he was actually doing a talk about this. So let's hear this.
For the white woman, he's telling the white world, I'm safe, I'm trustworthy, I'm acceptable. The white woman for the black man is a white surrender flag he holds up to the white power structure to say, I am buck broken and I'm here for being taken. Now, can a black man genuinely love a white woman? No. Let me tell you why.
Yeah, they were good to get that full thing. This is Dr. Umar talking. I think Dr. Umar is now very famous for the black men love black women, and he's quite hard on the brothers for not upholding that. And I think that this single topic, from what I see, will cause the most challenges in the community. Unfortunately, the biggest priority I see within so many black men is access to the daughter of white women. So that's why I become like an anomaly by speaking for black love, because you'll find that especially in the UK, there's not too many prominent voices of people who I'm just not reading the comments, who are actually all about it. But remember that before we go, for those who are joining us, we talk about Malengo, and Malengo covers these three things. Hold on. Where is it? Here we go. Black families, black economics, and black health. Malengo is talking about a goal system. So Malengo means goals in Swahili. And basically it's if every time we make black people focus on black families, black economics, and black health, just as a cultural concept, it'll be easy. So LEW, are you I don't tend to ask people their ethnicities, but you want to know what black love is? I take it. Are you new to the Black Betterment broadcast? Or are you a non-black person? That's why the concept might be alien. But what black love is, a black family. It's a constructive black man, a constructive black woman making a constructive black family. But feel free to jump in if you want to talk. I do invite lots of people when I go out on the internet and debate, but so many don't choose not to jump on. They can be quite daunting, but we try to be constructive here. And if you have genuine criticism, you're generally confused, you have questions, feel free to jump in and ask questions. But when you say where the white woman at, I think that was that a joke? For those who don't know, that's usually what black men say. It's a rib on black men who are very dominated, or very determined, to be with the daughters of a white man. And they want the world to know it, and they shout out, "Where's the white woman at?" when they go to a club or something. I assume that was you doing it as a joke. But feel free to jump in to explain your understanding of Black Betterment, or if you value the concept at all. If not, we will be ending the show. But it's always we got. I know there's people who want to hear some stuff, and so I'm going to keep. I'll see if I can find one more video, and then. But if you want to jump in, is that a woman's name? I assume so. Let's see what else we got. Hold on. So you don't want to be like this kind of gentleman here. You don't want to be like this guy.
Go for it.
No.
Y'all hear this, man? She, with that type of ass, never experienced a black man. They got damn.
Listen,
Remember, we're in the era. So being proper sexualized and really wanted white women to be with them, and they have podcasts and they put them on, and it's like openly lusting is a big thing.
I'm new to the game. I'm new to
New
dating.
to the it's new. You do the dating and everything.
Right. I have kissed a black man. That was.
Oh, you done smooched and got something good melody in your mouth?
That was definitely different.
Was it different?
Mm-hmm.
How did he smooch it? He smooch it down, bend you over Romeo and Juliet style?
No. It was just a romantic kiss.
Oh, it was just passionate. No, I'm talking about bend over like lay you back like a kiss.
Oh, damn. Is that what you be doing?
Yeah, I'm sensual. Yeah, I'm a romantic man. I smooch them down. That's my thing.
You can go really far down for me.
Hey, it's okay. I've
I've
been doing leg day.
Okay.
I squat down and now see, shake my glasses off. God damn it, my damn glasses fell off.
Yes, you see black men lose themselves for European women and stuff. But this is obviously podcast entertainment, whatever it is. But yeah, there you go. Is there one more video before I end? Should I play this one?
Yeah, I feel like black men see white women as a savior complex. To be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does go in there. That does go in there. Let me play this one more.
A British standards.
Unfortunately, yes. This is the psychological condition that many go through.
Totally.
Adjustment of black people maintains Eurocentric self-esteem, self-definition and identity, self-concept, sense of security, wealth and power, and control. Since the captive African's debilitated state, debased and degraded nature will not permit him to successfully overcome such dominance. The lowest European on the lowest street, Skid Row in this country, can always say one thing: at least I'm not black. He defines himself, and his self-esteem still rests upon the ultimate degradation of black people. So no matter how low and evil he sinks, he still has a superiority attitude toward black people. And therefore, the degradation of black people and maintaining black people in that state is important to the European sense of self-esteem and self-identity. The European more or less defines himself in contrast to the African person. Many of you have run into Europeans, and when you came to be what they did not expect to be, you've seen them unravel before your very eyes. When they could not play their accustomed role of dominance and mastery, you've seen them become unglued and unable to function, to become confused. It means then that our submission and subordination and degradation keeps them together. And therefore it is necessary for them to maintain this degraded state in black people in order to maintain their sense of self as a people.
There you go. Brother Wilson there. Talking about the self-esteem, and this is was the president, what's his name, Johnson? Is it Lyndon B. Johnson? As in, like, I would say, if you can convince the lowest white man he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pockets. He'll give him somebody to look down on, and he'll empty his pockets for you. What they're saying is, you know, the white person could be very poor, but as long as they feel that they're superior to the black person, this is a win, and you can always get money from them by pushing this. This is what the president allegedly said. So very interesting thing. And I think Francis Corporation said a similar thing about that. As long as you're better than a black person, you've got £1 million worth of whiteness or something like that. So it's $1 million or something like that. But yeah, it's interesting, very interesting stuff. Once again, we promote Black Betterment here. We know collectively black people have no friends, and we collate all the information, and we're trying to wake up. Now, just for those who are new, to understand the strategy, because sometimes they don't understand the strategy. The idea is to find a small number, what we call the open door elite, of black people who are constructive, who value black families, black economics, and black health, to work together to promote and push Black Betterment. So the idea is, let me see if I can find the diagram. We do it every week. We should educate week to week. Don't forget, Malengo is the goals of black people, which is black families, black economics, and black health. Let me put the picture. There's no picture. There's no picture. Picture. There you go. So yeah, black families, black economics, and black wealth. I'm about to go, fam. We're just going to end by just giving you the science before we go. Don't forget, black economic is black. There you go, black families, beautiful pictures. We have to actually design all these and send them out in the group. I keep forgetting. But remind me to get back to do this. Very important. What are we dealing with? Black race, black trauma. What am I looking for? I'm looking for the strategy. So yeah. So basically, here we go. Very important. So what we're doing here is we're innovators, yeah. So we're coming in, we're trying to come up with ways and tools of templates, tactics, tools, traditions that all based on the Black Betterment that can culturally make black people constantly do behaviors that is beneficial to black people. That's the goal. If you didn't know, now you know, right? And the people, these people, us, we're doing that. We're called the innovators, right? And the idea is once you come up with this, we give these ideas to the influencers, which is 22.5%. Us combined is known as the open door elite or the critical mass team, or whatever, right? This is how generally ideas spread. This is how it works. This is how it spreads in the media. This is the model that's used. And then once that 25% are doing these activities that we're defining here, then the imitators will come on, and then before you know it, it'll be a cultural norm. As in, fixing black issues will always be the thing. Racism. Let's read some of the break up. As it Chaku, I think I'm saying that wrong. Forgive me. Racism will always be more intense when you're in the racial minority, just like tribalism is always more intense when you're the minority tribe. Popular size matters. Yep, there you go. So, family, we're gonna end the show. Unless there's any questions, we're gonna end the show there. But any last things you have to say, Brother Leo?
No, I just want to say thank you again, and I'm happy to enjoy and keep coming in and just, if you like, be the solution to change, be support, be the Black Betterment, because I'm part of my healing journey. I love it so far, and starting to tune inwards.
Thank you, Brother Leon. And before we go, don't forget, family, there's always small technique steps you can take. You can make social groups or WhatsApp or Facebook groups and have them called a certain thing like Black Health, Black Economics, and Black Self-Esteem, and then invite all Black people in there. Just create spaces of just Black people where you're trading information, you're trading certain things. It starts that you can try to promote Black business and go shop there. You can be part of the solution. You don't have to wait for others. You can be part of it. But hopefully we'll check you guys next week. But until then, a Black Betterment to all and to all Black Betterment. You have a fantastic week and help Black people whenever you can. Oh, yeah. There you go.
Peace, Black